Okay, and we are live. So today for our live, we're just doing some Thanksgiving dessert prep. So I'm going to be rolling out some pie dough for our pies, and we'll see how far we get with that because I'm doing like 3 different crust rollouts. So let me go grab the crust. Okay. And I'm grabbing some flour. I like to roll it out on parchment paper, although I know I have a pastry mat. I just haven't grabbed it out yet and started using that, but I know for sure that would be a great tool. Lily, no. My dog should get so grumpy when somebody's outside. Okay, so I'm doing a little sprinkle of flour here. Don't want to do too much because we don't want it to mix with the pie dough and everything and make it too floury. Okay, so I have all of my pie crusts. I made these a couple weeks ago. I just used my food processor to whip out like 8 pie crusts. We could stick them in the freezer and have them all ready for our holiday season. So if you're able to do that, if you want to do homemade pie crust, that's a great thing to do, is not only doing it ahead of time, but also kind of doing it all at once. Hi! Lily. Look. I'll be right back. Look. No. Go. 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 What? Go. Okay. I'm back. My dog's a sweetheart, but she does get irritated when someone gets too close to the house. Okay, I'm grabbing up my rolling pin as well. And then I'm going to sprinkle, let's have a little bit of flour on this side. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit over the top. And then a little bit on my rolling pin, just so that things won't stick. So I'm curious if whoever's on is, or watching this later, if you're making any kind of pies for Thanksgiving, or what's your favorite kind of pie. That would be great. I'm rolling out the dough for my mom's pies, which is actually my favorite kind of pie. And it's like that kind of apple pie. I think some people call it like a Dutch apple pie, but we know it as sour cream apple pie. And it has like it's not just regular apple and cinnamon in the center. It's like kind of a creamy apple center, and then the top has that really nice crumb topping to it. I make a lot of pie stuff, but of course this is like the holiday of pie. Just trying to make it bigger, obviously, than the pie pan. I like apple crumble and pumpkin. Those are definitely a couple of my favorites too. Solid choices. I think we're getting pretty close with this one. Okay, I think maybe just a teensy bit more and I think we're good. I think you're making pumpkin donuts. Ooh, those sound good. Are you gonna do some kind of glaze? And if so, what kind? And I'm also curious, are you doing like cake donuts or are you doing fried donuts too? Okay, I think we've rolled that out enough. And I'm gonna grab my pastry brush. So you can brush off some of this excess flour here. Okay, and then I'm going to use my rolling to kind of roll this up. I don't know about anybody else, but my allergies are still like really crazy even right now. Usually they're not bad in November. A lot of excess flour. Okay, it's mostly on the outskirts that have that excess flour. Okay, so I'm just gonna set it down and wipe off the bottom so you can see what I'm doing. Just gonna roll that over the top. And ooh, I'm drying them in a cinnamon sugar blend, no glaze. Oh, that sounds so good. I'm baking them because healthy-ish, yes. And then, yay, Vicky made it. Okay, so we're gonna be not like pressing down, but like adjusting so it fills it in naturally. Because if you try to like press it down and stretch it too much, it's gonna shrink when it's baking. So we do not want to do that. Make sure it's all settled on the bottom. And this is one of those pies where we're not doing any blind baking. We're going to be adding the filling and having it all baked together.
And what kind of filling?
I actually mentioned that it was your apple pie that has like a creamy apple filling.
Sour cream apple pie from Apple Hill.
Yes, that was the recipe book you have, right? It's from Apple Hill directly.
But I also got it directly from the chef, the cook.
In Apple Hill.
Mm-hmm.
This is a family favorite. She makes it every year for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it's always our favorite.
It is delicious.
Okay. So then I'm going to grab a knife. Hello, thank you for joining. I'm going to cut some of this excess off, but I'm also going to keep some of it to try to crimp it. I say try to because I've only done crimping like less than a handful of times. So let me grab my paring knife here because I don't want too much excess. We can set those pieces aside to roll them out again later. I'm going to keep just a little bit. That should be enough for crimping. This side is like a teeny bit small, but I think it should still work. I'm not only helping my mom with this part, but also yesterday I made a, I've kind of become consistent in making a salted caramel cheesecake every year for my desserts to bring to Thanksgiving because everybody always brings something apple, something pumpkin. And so one year I was like, you know what, I just want to do something completely different. And then it's been a hit every time. So I just keep making that for Thanksgiving every year to have something a little bit different. And especially for like chocolate lovers, cheesecake lovers, because it's obviously different than pie. Okay, just a little bit more and then we can crimp. Okay, kind of a rough cut, but I think overall it's gonna work out like I want to. Okay. Oh, my apologies. Ugh, these allergies are kicking my butt lately. Okay, so we have our pinchy fingers, and then we're going to be going like this all the way around. But first, we're going to do a little kind of like tuck and fold. And like I said, this side is a little bit on the short side, but I think it's still going to work. I just want to do a little tuck so that our pie crust is not, you know, all ragdoll. So it looks like a little bit cleaner, a little bit more together. Okay. now we're gonna crimp. So like I said, we're gonna do 2 pinchy fingers and 1 that's gonna go in between. So you just go like that. And do this all around our pie. And if you're looking for even more like pie tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff, because I rarely make pie. It's pretty much during, you know, pie season in the fall, if I make it at all. Baker Betty has some awesome videos about, you know, making the dough and rolling it out and like doing all these things. So I would definitely check her out. The pie crust recipe that I use is on my YouTube as well as my blog, so feel free to go and grab that if you'd like. But if you're looking, like I said, for even more tips and tricks specifically with like expertise about it, I would definitely check out Baker Betty because she's an awesome resource for that. Part's over here a little bit tricky because that's that really short little bit, but we're doing our best with that. And perfect. Looks not too shabby if I do say so myself. I'm gonna wipe off the bottom here. What are you making? I'm rolling out pie crust for my mom's sour cream apple pie that she's making for Thanksgiving. Okay, got a couple more to roll out. And then we'll see. I don't know that we have enough time to include the filling, but I will definitely include pictures for you guys once everything is done. Let me grab a bowl here so I can get this extra. I would just kind of shake off some of that extra flour and then pop it into some kind of container, but I'm gonna be doing 3 of them, so I'm just gonna combine all my scraps, and then you could bake it off like by itself, or you could re-roll it. It's never the same once I re-roll it, but I don't like to waste, so I always like to use it for something. So like maybe even hand pies or something like that. You can always use it for something. Okay. I think with that one, I could have actually done even more of a border. I think I cut off maybe a little bit too much because I wanted to match that short part. But that's what's also good about doing multiple pies, is that I get more practice. Okay. Next one that we're rolling out. Hello, thank you for joining. Okay, I'm gonna lightly sprinkle that. Again, just enough so it's not gonna stick. Same thing with our rolling pin. And then we are rolling out. And I like to keep turning my parchment paper. And you can even roll out some pie crust and like cut little decorations. Last year, actually, for one of my lives, I made a pie crust little leaf shapes, and then I baked them kind of in like a ring and then popped it on the top of one of these pies as decoration. So you can do some really fun stuff. I think her name is the Pious, and her pie creations are like literally works of art on pie. So you can do some really cool stuff with pie. I do not have near the amount of experience, but I do like to kind of play around with stuff sometimes. But today we're keeping it simple. Because I will also be decorating the salted caramel cheesecake later. And while I'm rolling this stuff out, I have whatever I'm not rolling out just yet. It's still in the fridge because I want to keep it nice and cold. So we don't really want that butter to warm up before it gets in the oven. Oh, that should be enough. Double check. That looks good to me. Okay. So once again, brushing some of our excess off here, and then we're going to use our rolling pin to help transfer. But we're going to brush off this excess flour. Okay. Same as before, just gonna stick it down right here. And we're going to put that over the top. And then adjust as we need. But I gotta go. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving too. Thanks for stopping by today. I figured this would be a pretty easy peasy kind of live for today. And then next week will be, of course, hopping right into full-blown holidays. And once again, we're letting it kind of naturally go into the pie plate and not pressing down because we do not want that shrinkage. Okay, feels pretty good to me. There's still some little points here, but I think it's gonna work out pretty well overall. Okay, and cut off some of the excess, a little bit less than I did last time though. I can have a little bit bigger of a crimp on this one. Okay. So once again, we're going to do our little tuck and fold here, just like that. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the same crimping because like I said, I don't have a ton of experience with pies, so I like to keep practicing like at least the basic techniques. But I know that they also have like molds that you can do, kind of like the fondant molds and stuff like that, where you can do like a braid, you can do all these really cool things. I did try a braid one year. It didn't totally work out, so I definitely have some workshopping to do on my technique, but it is really fun to try kind of fun designs with it. We're almost done with this one. And then we're gonna roll out one more. And there's our lovely crimping. Okay. A little more flour. Okay, and then let me grab, gotta rinse my hands. I'm gonna grab my last pie dough. And we're doing the same technique that we did before. Okay, just like a little bit more flour. Okay, I wish I could have some like comforting music playing in the background, but I don't want to get a copyright violation. think I bumped my tripod. Okay, almost done rolling this one out. Okay, let's check. Perfect. Okay, get on our rolling pin here. Okay. Same thing as before. Lift up and let it sink. Okay, that feels almost there. Okay. Looks pretty good to me. Gonna cut off some of this excess, and I have plenty of excess on this one. I think the pie plate might be just a teensy bit smaller. If I had to guess, the other ones are probably like a 9-inch, and I think this one might be like an 8-inch. Okay, I think that's good. And then we're gonna pop it over just like usual. Okay, we're almost done. Okay. And one more little crimp. And there we go. There is our other pie done with our crimping. So that is all we're going to do on our live because we have a lot of apples to prep for the 3 pies. So to make our apple filling. But of course, like I said, I will post pictures later so that you can see how everything turned out. But for those of you that stuck around or just joined us now, I am going to grab my salted caramel cheesecake so I can show you the top of it. 'Cause I'm very happy with how it's turning out. So let me grab that really quick. Ta-da! I'm very excited. It's nice and level, and I usually do just as like only the bottom layer is crust, but I actually added the border with crust. So we're gonna see how it pops out of the pan with that because it's my first time trying that version. But overall, it looks like nice and flat. Usually I have a little bit more dipping, but it turned out better, even better than it usually does. And like I said, this is the one I always bring to Thanksgiving. Just to have something different on the table, a different option aside from pumpkin and apple, which I love for fall, but this is a nice little variation, and salted caramel is considered like, one of the key fall flavors. So it is a very nice topping to go on top because it's like salted caramel, and then it was a chocolate cheesecake base that I baked with the graham cracker crust. And then I always add like a kind of whipped cream border decoration with some little accents to it. So I'll be finishing that up today. And like I said, pictures of these as well as pie is coming very soon. But aside from that, that's all for our live today. So thank you guys so much for joining me and for sticking around through rolling out all the pies. I think they turned out pretty good, and we're going to finish them up and get them in the oven. And I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate that. Sorry, I'm like losing my voice. But I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and then also a very safe weekend with all the craziness that can happen during that weekend. And we're going to be hopping right into holiday stuff next week. So we will be, I think, maybe decorating a Christmas cake, possibly. I'm thinking that might be our first live for next week, but we'll have to see. I'm planning a couple different things. So let me know if there's anything specific that you want to see. But aside from that, of course, everyday shorts, videos, and all that fun stuff. So thank you once again for joining me, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.